Good morning, everyone, and welcome. My name is Elisa Sladzinska, and I work for the City of Chicago Department of Business Affairs and Consumer Protection, BACP. Welcome to the BACP Business Education Workshop Webinar Series. We have adapted our regular business education workshops at City Hall into these webinars until further notice. On behalf of our Commissioner, Rosa Escarino, I want to inform you that business licenses can be processed online where applicable by visiting chicagobusinessdirect.org. And any websites and emails that I mention will be posted in the chat box, so you will be able to reference them there. If you are part of the BACP Entrepreneur Certificate Program, you can get credit for joining this webinar by sending an email to bacpoutreach@cityofchicago.org. If you want to learn about the program, please visit chicago.gov/business education. To help guide your business and employees during Chicago's reopening process, including the new modifications going into effect this evening, please visit chicago.gov/reopening. Also, BACP and the City of Chicago's Office of Emergency Management and Communications created Shy Biz Emergency Alerts. You can opt in to receive targeted emergency alerts for the business community. If you are interested, please visit chicago.gov/shy-biz-alerts. And we encourage attendees to ask questions. Please use the chat box and send your questions to all panelists. There will be a question and answer session at the end of the presentation. And today's webinar will be a simple recipe for social media success, presented by Blue Top Marketing, Stephanie Walters. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hello, good morning, everyone. I am very excited to be back doing a webinar for the City of Chicago, and we'll be talking about my favorite subject, which is social media. We will be going over the top 5 platforms, and as we go through the presentation, as it was mentioned, definitely send in your questions to the chat box. My presentation is about 45 minutes, so we'll have enough time to get through all of the questions. All right, so let's get started. All right, as we all know at this point in time, social media is going to help you grow your business. There was a point in time where you could have a business and not be involved in social media, but at this point, social media has to be part of your overall marketing plan and strategy. However, it doesn't need to be this overwhelming thing that takes a whole lot of time to manage or execute. 21% of consumers are likely to buy from brands that they can reach out to on social media. Gone are the days where people will just Google what they need. A lot of people now will do their searches in Facebook. And on top of that, even if they use Google to search for a particular product or service, if you have a Facebook page, that is going to show in the search results on the Google side. So this is another reason why you need at least a basic social media plan for your business. And then you can influence people. 37% of consumer purchases are inspired through social media. And just think of your own personal lives when you're roaming around on Facebook and you see your friend posting that they're at a particular place and the particular restaurant and the food was great, or they received great services at a salon or spa. You're going to keep that in mind if you ever are in that neighborhood and you remember your friend went to this restaurant. Oh, let me go try this restaurant. So it's a great way to have other people influence their network to promote your business, and you can do the same as well. And then, if you're a not-for-profit, you can use it to support your cause. 84% share information on social media to support a cause. Animal rescue, cancer support centers. I know we're in COVID world, but the various like marathons and different not-for-profit activities can be posted on social media, and your supporters can help share that information out to their network, because at the end of the day, you do not have access to that person's network. So you need to inspire them and to share your information with their network, and then those people will come and start liking and following you as well, and then your followers and likes will mushroom up in that way, and that's how you can get more and more of your information excuse me, out into the interwebs, by getting more and more people to like and follow you on the various platforms. So here's our agenda. We're going to talk about the top 4 networks. We're going to discuss a 15-minute social media plan, and it truly is 15 minutes. And then talk about paid social advertising, and that's going to be on the Facebook side. So these are our 3 main agenda items. And so let's go ahead and get started. So my name's Stephanie Walters. I'm a chief marketing strategist at Blue Top Marketing. I started marketing well over 10 years ago with my family's 2 businesses. And then I started Blue Top Marketing in 2011. And so internet, building websites, and then switching over to digging deep into social media has been my journey for all of these years. All right, let's start with our first agenda item. So social media can help you grow, but these are the 3 areas that you need to focus on when it comes to social media. And it doesn't matter which platform you're choosing, these are the 3: awareness, customer service, and action. Okay? So let's talk about awareness. For awareness, you're using social media to get found. Like I said, when it comes to the searches, either on Google or Facebook, you want to make sure that you have a business page for your business, so that you can get found. When people do a search for your product or service, you come up in the search results. And then you also want to build interest. So when it comes to awareness, it's about posting about your product or service on your page, posting about your product or service. Another idea would be to cross promote with a cause or another business. So a really great example would be if you own a spa, you could cross promote with a yoga studio. The 2 of you operate in the same circle, but you're not competitors. Or if you run a printing business, you could cross promote with an animal rescue to help support their cause. So, and here, when you're posting about yourself, don't get salesy. Your post should not be about you every single time. People want a variety. They know what you sell, they know what you do, but they don't want to be told in every post that you put out there. Okay? So don't get so salesy. You want to educate, inspire, motivate, and then throw in some promotional posts. All right? When it comes to customer service, communicate with those who like you and don't like you. So when if there's a post out there and someone comments on it, good or bad, you respond. If it's a negative post, you move it offline. You don't try and hide it or delete it, depending on how bad it is. If it's a troll, then you would think about hiding it. But if it's legit, you respond to it with the simple message. Thank you for informing us of this issue. We would like to talk to you offline to learn more about what happened and to fix fix it or correct the situation. You move it offline and then you deal with it offline. And the other piece when it comes to responding to comments, you can respond with a comment or you can just respond with the emotion reaction, the like, love, care, laugh, those emotional responses, you can do that as well at a minimum. And then when it comes to action, that your action is going to win trust with who's following you. You want to create a craving. So you want to make sure that your pictures are craveable pictures. This is super important for restaurants or anyone in the food business. When you're posting pics, you really have to make sure that it is the best configured hamburger at the right angle and lighting so that when people see it, when you post it at 11 o'clock saying this is today's special, that people just cannot stop thinking about that particular hamburger and having it at lunch. You want to make sure that you're putting out high quality photos when you're posting out online. You can do it to steal business and then also drive action. So when it comes to driving action, my advice would be giving tips, because remember, we're not going to be super salesy. So you could provide tips. If you have events, post your event. And here's a tip on posting events. If it's an event, it needs to also be a Facebook event. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. You can post questions or polls on your page. And then you can drive people to purchases. So if you have a sale on one particular item, then you can talk about that item, the sale, and then link them directly to the item on your website. All right, so we all know this. Social platforms are proven to drive success, but you have to work it consistently. Okay, so let's go over this. When it comes to Facebook, it has the largest reach, as we know. It's great for a variety of businesses. You can practically be any business that's legal and not that's legal that can have a page on Facebook. And it has an excellent ad platform. When it comes to online advertising on Facebook is a lot cheaper than advertising on Google. And when we get to the advertising section, I will show you the vast difference between the two. And when it comes to posting, you can post videos, photos, links, and event information. So the key here with Facebook, and generally with all of them, you need to be consistent in your posting. You don't need to post every day on Facebook, but you do need to be consistent. So 2 to 3 times a week would be fine. They give you the analytics to know when people are looking at your page so that you can schedule your post during those times to get the most reach for that post. Posting multiple times a day is not necessary when it comes to Facebook. And if you're running an event and you are, for example, you created the event in Eventbrite, you also need to push that event out to Facebook. Facebook's robot is going to work in your favor. It is one of the last free promotional options you have on this platform. So once you create that event on Facebook and you start inviting people, they all get a notification that they've been invited to something. All of the people who follow your page will get a notification that you added an event. And for every person that says that they're interested, most of the people in their network are going to get a notification from that Facebook robot saying, so-and-so, friend ABC is interested in this event. Because they figure if you're friends, you're probably going to be interested in that event as well. And so it's one of the last free promotional options you have when dealing with Facebook. And then my last recommendation when it comes to Facebook is that you really, really need to watch how you boost your posts. Boosting is great for Facebook. You need to make it great for you. My general rule is that if you're going to boost a post, then it has to be a post where you are going, that generates revenue so that you can get your money back. Just because your motivational post is performing 85% better than any other post on your page for that day or the last couple days is not a reason to give Facebook $10 to boost it. Now, if you're having a sale on a particular product and you post it on your page and then you boost that post, that's fine, because then you can tie the revenue from the sale and that boosting back to how the ad dollars that you spent. So be very careful about how you boost and then who you're boosting to. Don't just boost it to everyone that's out there. Really think about who this really needs to be targeted to. Next is Twitter. It's very focused on conversation. You're connected through hashtags, and there's a lot of information sharing. Now, when it comes to Twitter, if you're going to be on this particular platform, just understand that it requires a lot of posts in order for you to be seen, upwards of 5 times a day. So just keep that in mind when it comes to this particular platform. But it is really great for sharing information, and you could post videos, photos, links, and event information as well. Next is Instagram. Instagram is owned by Facebook. And so in the background, you're going to start seeing more and more integration between the two. So if you have a Facebook business account, business page, and an Instagram account, when you go into your settings for your business page, there's an option for connecting that business page to your Instagram account. I strongly suggest that you do it. And then you will have the ability to, when you post to Instagram, they will ask you if you want to also have that post go over to Facebook. Depending on the post, you can say yes or no. It's really up to you based on your business and what you're doing. But just know that they're bringing them closer and closer together every year. It's mobile first platform, so which means up until a couple months ago, this meant that you could only post on Instagram through your phone or mobile device. Now you can post from desktop, but you have to go through the Facebook Creator Studio. So make note of that, Facebook Creator Studio. You can Google it. And now you can post on Instagram and Facebook, and you can cross promote them, cross post, or you can do individual. Instagram gears more to the younger generation, and it's hyper local. So this is a great place for restaurants, visible type businesses, restaurants, landscapers, hairdressers, barbers. If you are a business, all businesses can be on Instagram, but if you're a business that can show before and after, this is a great place to be because it's so photo heavy. when you're posting, you post photos and videos using hashtags, but when you're posting here, your post is very short. This is not where you get long-winded. They'll allow you to, but this is not the place for it. People are coming here for the photos. The photos are going to stop them, and then they're going to read what you have posted. But what you post needs to be very short, and you need to include a lot of hashtags if you want it to be found, because the search box on Instagram is looking at hashtags. So that's how you're going to get found on Instagram, using hashtags. Now we're at LinkedIn. This is the professional platform. It's a great place to network through your network. So if you're trying to find, if you find out that the person you're trying to connect to is also connected to someone you're already connected to, you can go through that second person to try and connect to that new person. It's all about the networking when it comes to LinkedIn. And it's great for finding contact information for decision makers as well, that you would never find on their website. The one thing I can add outside of being a business owner for LinkedIn, if you are looking for a job, I strongly suggest you start here, because there are a lot of job postings in LinkedIn, Career Builder or Monster or any of those people. So I would definitely suggest that you start here and do some job searches, and you can just do it through the search box up top and see what you find. And you can, it's even set up to have you apply through LinkedIn. So just a side note when it comes to LinkedIn. And here you would do links, event registrations. But if you're looking to show that you're an authority on a particular subject, this is a great place to be, because you can write and publish articles on the platform. And so when people are searching for your topic, you and your articles will come up within the platform. And again, if they're doing that on Google, that information will also show up in the search results on the Google side. So this is a really great place to establish your authority on a particular subject matter. All right, so those are the top 4. Don't be overwhelmed with everything that we covered, right? You don't have to be on all of the platforms, and you don't have to be on all of them at the same time. So if you're just starting out, just start with Facebook, get that down, go to Instagram, because those are the 2 that, in my opinion, you definitely need to be on. And then you can decide if you need to be on Twitter, if you need to be on LinkedIn, if you need to be on Pinterest, and anything else that's out there. Okay? So it doesn't have to be overwhelming, because you don't have to be everywhere. So to get people to follow you, search for people near you or using a related hashtag. Remember, Instagram runs off of hashtags. Look for hashtags that are related to your product or service, and then start following people. And the general rule is that once you start following people, especially on Instagram, then they will look to see what you're posting, and if they're down with the plan, then they will follow you back. And so that's how you will gain followers, organically gain followers. You can ask people on your email list. So if you are regularly sending out newsletters, e-newsletters to your email list, you should make sure that you have the social media icons within that email that link out to your pages. And then you can just, sometimes especially if you're starting out, you can just have a blatant statement saying, hey, did you know that we're on Facebook, Instagram, and wherever else? And give them the links right there. Make sure you follow us for the for the most up-to-date information, and then give them the links right then and there so that they can go out to the page, like it, or follow it. And then ask in person. I know we're not doing a whole lot of in person. However, if you talk to a customer over the phone, make sure you mention that, hey, don't forget to follow us on Facebook and Instagram. If you are doing in person, you can still ask. So when they're closing out their order or picking up their order, you can include in the bag a little piece of paper, a 4x6 piece of paper, saying, hey, don't forget to follow us on, and list all of the platforms that you're on. So you can still create that in-person interaction. All right, let's talk about the 15-minute social media plan. Now, remember, these are our 3 goals: awareness, customer service, and action. And what you're going to do is break each one of them down into 5 minutes. And now you have your 15 minutes for the day. So when you're generating awareness, again, you're going to use really great pics that are related to what you're talking about, so that the message and the image match, and you want to keep it short and sweet. Okay, so Jack's Barbecue, they're using a craveable image of food, and they're talking about their menu. We don't just do ribs, and they're showing a picture of a very delicious sandwich, which is making me hungry. And then we move over to someone that does fancy letters, right? And look at the great image that they're using on Instagram. People are going to stop at the image, and then they're going to read the message. And here there isn't even a message. They're just using hashtags in relation to the image. And then next we come over to the yoga studio. And then they're actually providing educational information. They're not selling themselves. They're providing information. Okay. When it comes to customer service, this is many companies are moving in this direction, especially with Twitter. But of course, when it comes to your Facebook page, you have Messenger running your inbox, so they can send you a message there. If you have your Facebook page and your Instagram account connected, anyone that sends you a message on Instagram will show up in the inbox for your Facebook page, which is another great way of how they're bringing the two together in the background. And when it comes to customer service in this way, whether it's through your website, through the social media channel, when people receive a response that doesn't look like a robot, they feel, super special that they're getting a personalized action to their issue or question. So this doesn't mean that if you get a message at 2 a.m, you got to get out of bed and answer them. No one's expecting you to give them an answer at 2 a.m, especially if you're not in the business of that kind of immediate response. But they will expect an answer during business hours. So just make sure that you have a way to keep up and keep track of any messages that are coming through that are asking questions or presenting issues. And then encouraging action. Again, you can do a poll. You can ask a question and run a poll on your page. You can have an event and share your event on your page, letting people know that the event's coming up and getting them to sign up. And then you can just flat out ask them for a review on your Facebook page, especially if you're starting out. So you want to encourage action for this particular section, for these 5 minutes. And here's something that I get asked all the time, which is, where do I get the content to do all of this posting, right? repurpose what you already have. If you wrote a blog post for your website, then share the link to that blog post on your social media pages. There's your content for the day. If you are sending an e-newsletter out to your list and it had 4 different things in it, 4 different pieces of content in it, that's 4 days worth of posting for your social media. Okay? You just have to adjust the message, but there's your content right there. If you have people that ask the same question, not the same person, but multiple people asking the same question all the time, create a frequently asked question list, place that on your website, and then when you're needing to fill some days, answer one of those questions. You know, did you know that we have special holiday hours? You know, did you know that we support these local causes in our community? You know, that stuff. So if you have frequently asked questions, turn them into posts. Now, outside of that, if you're needing to find additional content, again, you can do the Instagram search to see what's out there. Just remember, you don't want to post, share posts from your competitors. You can use the Twitter advanced search to look for industry related type content from newspapers, magazines, associations, that kind of thing. And then there's a really cool website called Feedly where you can put in your search and it will bring up, you put in your subject and it'll bring up various online articles that are related to that search or that subject. And so then you can decide which one you're going, which of those you're going to share on any particular day. And so you can just add that into your content calendar. Okay, so next we're going to move on to paid social advertising. So social media has changed, you know, I call it payola, big time payola, especially with Facebook. You know, you have the boosting and then you have traditional advertising on the platform. We're going to talk about the traditional advertising side of the platform. So social ads are very cost effective. Whether it's Facebook, Twitter, or any of those people, they're a lot cheaper than going with Google. And the reason that is because when you're running an ad on Google, though you have keywords that are attached to that ad, people have to put in those keywords in order to see your ad. So they would have to be searching for those keywords, and then your ad pops up on the side or up top. But you're waiting for people to do the search. Whereas on Facebook, you're not waiting for people to do the search. You can get in front of people that you have never connected with because you can narrow it down by demographics, location, behaviors, and interests. I want to reach a mom with a 5-year-old living within 25 miles of the city of Chicago that's interested in yoga. And bam, you will have that is your audience. That is your custom audience. And so your ad can now run in front of those people. It'll show up in their newsfeed. In addition to that, you have the option to make a lookalike audience. And it basically follows the concept of birds of a feather flock together, even if they don't know each other, right? So if you have, say you have your email list, you can load that email list up into the ad side of Facebook, They will tell you how many people on that list have an active Facebook account. You can start running ads to them, or you can select within the system to create a lookalike audience. So take the characteristics of those people that have an active Facebook account and give me another group. This group looks like the first group, and that's called a lookalike audience. And then you can run it to them because they have never heard of you. So you want to bring them into your network. You want to bring them over to be likes and followers so that you can slowly march them into purchasers. Once you know your audience, it's time to design and publish your ad. Now, I strongly suggest that before you even get into the ad platform, that you sit down with yourself, looking at who's on your list, the characteristics of the people on your email list, the characteristics of the people that are following you on Facebook, and the characteristics of the people who have actually paid you, and come up with your target audience. So have that already sketched out, okay? And it's not everyone, right? My favorite example is just because you're a makeup artist doesn't mean that everyone with skin is your target audience, because not everyone wears makeup, right? So you got to be real honest about who your target audience is. Come up with the images and or video you're going to use. Write the copy for the ad and have all of that ready to go before you go into the ad platform, so that it's not this start-stop kind of process. Once you're in, you can knock it out in a few minutes and get that ad out there. But when you're designing it, make sure that you're using craveable pictures and short video. People have ADHD. They just don't know it. So don't use super long video for an ad. Remember, this is an ad. You're trying to get them to the next step. You're trying to get them to click so that they can get to the next step. Okay? Oh, and one other thing, when you're creating your headline for your ad, you don't need to use your business name in the headline. Because you see here for the first one, Half Moon Yoga Studio, your business name is already going to be at the top of the ad. So use that headline where it says learn about our classes, use that as an action item. Okay? Remember, your name is already going to be there, so there's no need to put your name in the headline or the subtitle of the ad, or the subheadline of the ad. Okay? Cool. And so once you have designed and published your ad, it's going to have the word sponsored under your name. It's the universal symbol saying that it's an ad. And then it will give people an option to like your page if they haven't already liked your page. And then it'll give them a little tidbit of information, and then it'll give them a button. You decide what that button says. Excuse me, when you're in the ad creating process, they'll give you book now, learn more, subscribe. They have a whole list in there when you do it. And then when it comes to lead ads, it's the newest shiny thing that Facebook has. So lead ads are basically the entire ad process that we went through. However, you're just trying to get a lead. You're not linking them out anywhere. You're just wanting to say you have a free ebook. And so you're running an ad for a free ebook, and they just need to submit their email address and you will send them the ebook. That's a lead ad. And so they actually stay on Facebook. And so you have the option with different email platforms. Like I represent Constant Contact, but you can do this with MailChimp and some others where you can connect your Constant Contact account or MailChimp account to a lead ad so that once they put in their email information while staying on the platform, your servicer is getting the information, immediately emailing the person the ebook and adding them to your list at the same time. So that's the automation piece of it. So you don't have to have Constant Contact to make that happen. So full disclosure, you don't have to have Constant Contact to make the lead ad work. But I just wanted to explain that piece to you. And then once your lead ads are out and running, if you're using Constant Contact, it will give you this information as far as your metrics. Otherwise, Facebook will give it to you as well. It'll tell you how many impressions means how many times it showed up in someone's newsfeed. And it'll tell you how many leads you gained from that particular ad, the average cost per lead, and how much you spent. With every ad you run on Facebook, I'm just going to use them as a proxy. Excuse me. Sorry. With every ad that you run, at the end of the process, they want to know how much you want to spend, and they will not go over that dollar amount. In fact, in some cases, they'll come right under it. So if you tell them you only want to spend $25 for the next 2 weeks on this ad, then that's what they're going to do. They're going to get the cheapest clicks possible so that your ad will last that $25 through that $25 for the 2 weeks. And then when it's done, they're going to give you all of the metrics off of the ad. Okay, so here's our recap. Our goals are awareness, customer service, and action. Those are the three that are always running in our minds when we're approaching our platforms. You're going to want to try and spend 15 minutes a day on the platforms, and then branch out into using social ads to reach new people. Now, I will tell you that once you get in your groove, that you can schedule out everything once a week. Once you get into how you're going to operate and how all of this is going to work out, figure it all out on Sunday, because professional sports are practically done. They're almost done. So you can sit at home on Sunday, work all of this out, figure out what you're going to post when and where, schedule it, and move on with your business life while all of this is running in the background. Okay? This is, again, full disclosure, I'm with Constant Contact. These are the different things that you can do with the platform. If you're interested in learning more, definitely send me an email. But again, you are not required to have that just to do any of what we talked about today. And with that, we are at Q&A.
Stephanie, thank you so much for all the detailed information. We do have several questions coming in, so let me start working through them. Okay. First and foremost, this webinar is being recorded and will be made available on our YouTube channel, which is youtube.com/Chicago BACP. And I will post that link in the chat box, so you'll be able to reference it there. And if you do have any questions, please send them in the chat box to all panelists. All right. First question is, I have to learn how to fundraise and show my work for my new youth center. I need training on how to navigate it through different media streams newly developed. So Stephanie, can you talk about maybe some of the platforms that would be good for fundraising?
I would say that Facebook would be your number one, because they have a fundraising. If your page is set up as a not-for-profit, or, well, let's start there. If your page is set up as a not-for-profit, they will turn on the option for fundraising. And so they have an official fundraising channel running in the background of the platform. So when you're posting about a particular fundraiser that's running at any given time, when the robot sees that you're talking about the fundraiser, it will ask you, do you want to add a donate button? And then you're going to have to, in the background, go through the settings of setting up your fundraiser, because they want to make sure that you're a legit fundraiser. So you'll have to go through the settings to prove that you're a legit not-for-profit and this is a legit fundraiser. And then after that, every time you post, it will say, do you want to add a donate button? And then that donate button will be there. So I would start there. And then get as many of your family and friends to share once that post is out there, to share that post anywhere and everywhere, so that you can get into their networks. And then from there, think about spending a small amount. Just don't spend a whole lot of money on advertising, but you will need to do some advertising to target the people that you are trying to bring in. So think about the demographics of those people. Does that help?
Yes, and a follow-up was they need to strategize ways to engage with the youth on different activities through social media. So what would be one of the platforms for engaging with youth?
Well, you can go with some of the younger platforms when it comes to dealing with the youth. So the Snapchats of the world and all of that, but you're going to need to also engage with the parents who are actually paying you. So you're going to have two strategies because you're going to have to convince the parents that your program is the greatest thing since sliced bread and their kid really needs to be in it. And then you're going to need to engage with the kids when it comes to making them super excited about the activities. So the best thing I would say is ask a handful of kids in the age group that you're trying to target and ask them, where are you hanging out online? Because there's a lot of them out there. There's a lot of places. So just ask them, where are you hanging out online? Where are you and your friends hanging out online? And then getting over there. So you got the TikToks of the world, you have Snapchat, and so just ask them.
So as you're mentioning those newer platforms, someone asked, what about Twitch? Is it here to stay, and what is it?
I haven't gotten into Twitch yet. I'm always skeptical of new things, new platforms coming out, only because some come and then 6 months later they're gone. Like, what's that one, Quibi? I don't think it made it a year, and now it's being shut down. So, like I said, you need to figure out. It's not about being everywhere. It's about being where your people, your tribe, your followers, your paying customers are hanging out. Okay, so if you don't know where that is, ask them. It's okay to ask them. Just ask them. Where are you hanging out online? What is your preferred platform? And you go with the majority, and then go from there.
For what businesses does it make sense to market on LinkedIn?
If you are a business to business, then it makes sense to market on LinkedIn. If you provide services that are purchased or signed up by human resources, people in the human resource department of various companies, then you need to be on LinkedIn. But the overall concept is that if you're business to business, that's where you want to be.
Do I need to set up Instagram a business account or a personal account to link to business Facebook account. So can you talk
Business.
a little bit about both of those?
Yes. So you want to go with the business account because then you'll get the analytics. The Instagram business account will give you all of the analytics of how many people are looking at your posts, their age group, their gender. So, all of the same, well, not all of the same metrics, but a bulk of the metrics that you get from your Facebook business page, you will also receive on the Instagram side. So you definitely want to make it an Instagram business account.
How does your social recommendations change when it comes to promoting businesses of different industries? For example, a consulting business's social advertising versus a restaurant's.
So a consulting business versus a restaurant?
For promoting businesses in different industries.
Okay. So for restaurants, they definitely, I would always tell them to be on Facebook and Instagram because of the imagery, the age group, because again, you're dealing with people who can afford to pay you. And then there's tools on the Facebook side that you can now put your menu, have your page set up as a restaurant and have people look at your menu and order through that way. When it comes to consulting, I would say LinkedIn and LinkedIn would probably be your number one and have Facebook as your number two, but you really wouldn't need to be anywhere else. If you were considering Twitter, but you don't necessarily have the time to put in it right now, I would suggest, and this is for anyone, I would suggest that you go into the settings for your Facebook page and set it up where whatever you post on Facebook automatically posts to Twitter, just so that you can keep your Twitter account going until you're ready to really pound it out. But if you're a consultant, you definitely want to be on LinkedIn because you need to show your authority, and that means you're business to business. And then Facebook would be your second.
You stated that we can set up posts for a week out. Can you do that on Facebook and Instagram, and how?
Yes. When it comes to Facebook alone, you can just go to your Facebook page and go to publishing tools. And then you'll see an option for scheduled posts and then an option to schedule a post. And then you can write up your post, add your image or video, and then give it a date and time and bada bing, bada boom. If you were going to do it for Instagram, you would have to go through Facebook Creator Studio. So you'd have to look for that. Just Google it. And then you'll see your Facebook page and you'll see an Instagram option. And then you go into the Instagram option, do your ditty with the post, and then schedule it.
What would be a better dashboard to control all the social media platforms?
I generally like Hootsuite, but there's some out there, but I really like Hootsuite because you're not just looking at the front end of the page and waiting for notifications to come through. You can set up your dashboard to look for certain at mentions so that if someone's mentioning you somewhere else, then you'll get a notification in that stream. You can do a search you can have a stream that, yes, that's correct, Hootsuite, Hoot, Hootsuite. You can set up a stream that is going to look for hashtags. You can set up a stream that's just for messages. So I kind of like them because then I find it easier to manage making sure that you are responding as quickly as possible and not just waiting for posts to come in or notifications to come in. You can actually see it real time at that point.
Thank you. What would you suggest on best steps to create engagement with a call to action? More for a nonprofit.
Well, first I would make sure it's fun. Fun and funky always works. And then connect with businesses in your community. So here's a really good example. The South Suburban Family Shelter is a not-for-profit in the South suburbs. I have a client that runs a salon and spa in the within 10 miles of the shelter, and he's a big supporter of the shelter. So whenever the shelter has an event or even General Post, but definitely when they have events, we make sure to share their events on our page so that they can get more reach and more engagement. And so this is where it's really good to have a connection with the different business people in your community, and with a general understanding that their support of your not-for-profit means that it can include a financial support, but it also means that they will help share your information out through their channels so that you can get that engagement and reach.
Okay. Someone says, I understand the concept of a target audience, but with a baking business, my target is everyone. Do I still need to narrow it down, or would that just apply when I'm running certain sales? I feel like in general, everyone loves treats.
Okay, so yes, you have to narrow it down. I know you believe everyone loves treats. However, you're going to need to bring it down to you're going to have multiple target audiences. So when it comes to the biggest area that you're going to need to bring down is location, because if you're in Bensonville and I'm in Plainfield, what's the likelihood of me driving from Plainfield to Bensonville? You see what I'm saying? So you're going to need to look at location. You're going to need to, when it comes to the demographics, I would always suggest, especially when it comes to the baking side, go after women. I mean, let's be honest, in your house, who bought the birthday cakes and the holiday cakes and all that good stuff? So I would go after women within a particular radius of your business. And then as far as behaviors and interests, I would look at people who are interested in Martha Stewart's, who are interested in the Food Network, who are interested in the cooking channel. That's how you can narrow it down.
Thank you. Let's see. Any suggestions on web hosting sites?
Yeah, I generally recommend Bluehost. Any client that I've had that I've built their website, I've put them on Bluehost. And I myself have been on Bluehost for over 10 years. And I just think they're extremely stable. Their uptime is very, very high. And they have a lot of tools once you have a hosting site to help you get your website up. And their customer service is phenomenal. So I suggest Bluehost.
Someone says, I'm an artist and I've reached a following of 5,000 on Instagram and I feel stuck there. Is there a way to still keep growing?
Absolutely. The question would be, how are you interconnecting with other pages? I think that's where you're going to have to start networking with some folks in order to get that to get past that plateau. So how are you cross promoting other people so that your stuff shows up there, so that their people come over to follow you? You know, just do some do some cross promoting with some non-competitors, and see how you can see if that will help you get past that plateau.
Okay. Next question is, how do hashtags work? Is it that you can randomly name hashtags using terms or phrases that are synonymous with your product or service?
Okay, so hashtags started on Twitter with the big brands and the TV networks, and they were used for metrics to see who was talking about either a TV episode or their particular product or service. And hashtags in general are a way to connect people in a conversation without having them become friends on any particular platform. So back when Scandal was a huge TV show and they had their hashtag Scandal or whatever it was for that show, when you went on Twitter, you had thousands upon thousands of people commenting during the show back and forth with each other, and they were not connected on Twitter at all, but their connection was through the hashtag. Then the hashtag came over to Facebook, and then it just blew up into chaos, especially on the personal side. Yes, on the personal side, yes, in general, you can create a hashtag of anything, but on the personal side of Facebook, people are now using it as a way of making statements at the end of their posts. But on the business side, you really need to be strategic on what you create and stay consistent. So for that salon client that I talked about, his hashtag is JK. So we place that on every post so that if and when I do a search for hashtag JK, I can see everyone that has posted using that hashtag. So you want to try and create a hashtag that is relevant to your business and that you can use for every post. But before you start, I would do a search to see if that hashtag has already been used or being used by a business, and the type of business that it is. If they're in Washington State and you're here and it's benign, then go ahead and use the hashtag. But if it's connected to something that you don't want connected to your business, even if it's just out there in the interwebs, then come up with something else.
What was the site name you mentioned that shared internet posts based on a specific topic?
Oh, Feedly, FEEDLY.com. You can put in a subject and they will come back with a list of different articles and posts and all kinds of stuff that you can decide to either use or not use as content for your pages.
Do you have any thoughts about using Meetup to connect with new users? Is the audience on Meetup different than the audience on Facebook, Instagram, etc.?
Well, Meetup is, I'm not sure how strong Meetup is at this point because of our current situation. I'm trying to have conversations that don't use the word COVID so much. But so I'm not really sure how strong Meetup is at this point. But at the end, you can always test. There's nothing wrong with testing something for, if you're going to test it for a good 90 days and see if it works. And if it doesn't, then try something else, tweak it and try something else. But there's nothing wrong with starting something new, testing it, and then looking at the metrics at the end of the test and deciding what you're going to do.
Next question is, right now my business page is linked to my personal account. Is this suggested, or in your opinion, should they be separate accounts? I noticed problems inviting people to the business page because they had to be friends with me through my personal page. And that was one thing I didn't like, but I wanted another opinion business-wise.
Okay, so in order to have a Facebook business page, you have to have a Facebook personal account because they need to know that it's a human creating the page. What you post on the page does not show up on your personal page, and what you post on your personal page doesn't show up on your business page. Now, when you're inviting people to like your page, Facebook is only going to show you people that are friends with you, because otherwise they consider it spamming. So if you want to reach out to other people that you're not connected to personally, then that's when you're going to need to run an ad back to your page.
Next question is, we just opened a Twitter account, but when we Google our business name and the word Twitter, nothing comes up. Do you know why?
No, I would have to look to see how the Twitter account was set up. There's something funky going on there.
And a question came in. I'm new to social media. I created a Twitter account for my printing business. I believe this is the same person potentially. Let's see. No, another person's saying, so when I Google my business with a Twitter handle, it does not come up. Did I do something wrong when I set up the account? So you're saying, Stephanie, that there could be something with the settings when they set up the account?
Yes. Either the verification's not done, or you accidentally hit private instead of public. There's something in there in the settings that's a little wonky.
Next question is, how do you know if you should use newsletters as a part of your marketing and promotion strategy?
Well, I generally suggest that you do use newsletters to your list to keep them engaged and to let them know of what's going on with you. Because just because they purchase from you and they follow you on Facebook, the Facebook robot is only showing your post to 2% of the followers that you have. And so you need another way to touch your own tribe. And so I recommend a monthly newsletter. I recommend social media. I recommend that depending on your business, that you have a blog page on your website, because you don't know how people are coming in to connect with your business. And so it's best to have different avenues. Not everyone has a Facebook page, a Facebook account. I know it's weird to hear in 2020, but there are still people out there that are not on Facebook, and which means that they're also not on any other platform, likely. And so you need to still be able to reach those people, and email, a monthly email that is not too salesy, is a great way to reach them.
Someone asked, can you explain lead ads again?
Sure. Lead ads are a way to get a lead into your sales funnel, your sales cycle, so that once they're in, you can start trying to connect with them to lead them to a purchase. And so, excuse me, with that lead ad, you need a really great, it's called a magnet. You need a hook, a free download, a free ebook, free, if you're dealing with kids, a free fall printable. I have a 5-year-old, so I get all this stuff. A free fall coloring printable pack. So you need to have a magnet, and someone's going to click on it because they're interested. And when they click on it, the name, email, and cell phone number are going to automatically populate the form. And then they're going to say yes or submit. And then when they do, your systems in the background are going to immediately send out whatever that magnet is, and they will drop to your email list. And so now you can nurture that person, because it takes about 7 touches to nurture someone into a purchase. So now you can nurture them into becoming a paying customer. But when it comes to the lead ad, just know that they never leave Facebook. That's the great thing about it, because they already trust Facebook. That the fact that they don't have to leave the platform in order to get your free thing is a really great hook into making sure that you get more and more people to hit submit.
And we have time for a couple more questions. First question is it good or bad to post the exact same thing on all social media accounts?
Yeah, it gets iffy. If you do it all the time, yes. Because you may have people following you on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. And if you're posting the exact same thing at the same time, they're getting 3 notifications about one thing. That might annoy people if you do it all the time. I generally don't do it for my clients. So I'll post something on Facebook on a Monday, and that same content with the little tweak in the message will go over to Instagram on Wednesday or Thursday. And on the Instagram side, of course, I add all of the hashtags. And so that's how I repurpose the content. But it's very rare that I post something on Instagram and I have it automatically go to Facebook. It really just depends on what it is. But I try not to do it, too many times.
Okay. And final question is, I was suggested Wix for web hosting. Are you familiar with their services and support? Stephanie, I believe you mentioned you use a different web hosting site.
Yes. So Bluehost is a hosting site, and then you can, and they're heavy on the WordPress side as far as building your website. And I am a firm believer in WordPress because it is super duper flexible in the options that you'll need to build the site. Wix, on the other hand, is hosting and a web builder. The only issue with Wix is that Google is not real friendly with Wix. So you can have a beautiful Wix website that doesn't cost you a whole lot of money, but you may not get the reach you need with Google because it's built on Wix and built with Wix. Now, when you go with the WordPress side, it doesn't cost you a whole lot of money over there either. You're paying the same for hosting, and then you can build your WordPress site yourself for free. It may take you a minute, but you can get it going and rocking for free. But you'll have Google on your side when you do that. Another option, if you are e-commerce, you can go with WordPress and use WooCommerce, or you can go with Shopify. And Google and Shopify are very good friends. Google doesn't own it, but the connection, they basically, those two cousins like each other. Google and Wix, not so much.
Mm-hmm. Great. Well, thank you so much, Stephanie. And if someone wants to reach out to you, what is your contact information?
Sure. Here's my, here's my email address. So I offer a free 15-minute consultation. So send me an email, mention that you attended this webinar, and we will schedule some time to chit chat about some recommendations for your business. And from there, just know that I'm available to build websites, manage social media, consult on social media, email marketing, the whole kit and caboodle. So if you want to learn more, just send me an email and we can have a chit chat.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stephanie, for starting your Friday morning with us and for sharing some super valuable social media information. Thank you, everyone, for joining us, and we wish you a good rest of the day. Thank you.